Okay. I fixed the issue, guys. I had to leave and come back because I had a audio issue, and I don't want to leave you all on here while I'm trying to figure shit out, all that stuff. So I had to go ahead and start it over. Let me check my checks. Okay. I fixed the issue, guys. All right, man. I checked. I have audio. Line in, we're good. Okay, we're gonna go in talking about Roland Martin. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a brief overview. So earlier this morning, I was just waking up, getting that good puff in the morning. You know what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden, I got a notification saying that Roland Martin was going to be on a debate with PBD on his podcast. And I knew I couldn't miss it. I knew I could not miss this, okay? Like, let me, first of all, pull it up. We're going to go into it, but I knew I couldn't miss it. If you watch Roland at any point in time, you know he's a bumbling buffoon in a sense. And he may not like me. He don't even know who the hell I am. Anyways, either way, he's a babbling buffoon is what I should have said. I said bumbling, but babbling buffoon. He basically talks over and over, talks about macros. He'll talk you to death without actually answering the question, or maybe somewhere in there some type of answer, whatever the case may be. But PBD did his thing and allowed him to debate him and try to be calm with him. I really give him a lot of credit for his candor during the debate. At the same time, I don't mind a little heated debate. I love heated debates, but you can tell this was one-sided. Roland would not give him a chance to really talk. And every time he tries to talk, he's, what about this? And you don't know about this, and whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to get into it. It's a 3-hour debate. You should go and take a look at it yourself on PBD. You should go and take a good look at it for yourself on the PBD broadcast show and actually see the whole debate. But I'm going to actually jump into some points that I picked up on and certain timestamps, and we're going to talk about these things, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it because I was talking about stuff earlier and then it messed up the broadcast, so my mind is all over the place. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, and I'm sure that'll wake me up.
It's now 88%, 86%, 90%, right?
Yep.
So if blacks have had, if Democrats have had that vote since 64, that's 60 years, 59 years to be exact. How come blacks haven't made major progress if Democrats care about blacks as much as they do?
Well, first of all, that's an actually flawed question because when you say haven't made major
what kind of progress have they made?
No, let me allow unpack.
I would love to hear
that. So when you look at what you coming out of 1960s, then you go to 1970s, when you begin to see your first wave of black mayors across the country, Marion Barry in D.C., Maynard Jackson in Atlanta, Coleman Young in Detroit, of course, previous.
Roland is really good for this type of stuff. Roland is really good at mentioning random facts. If you look at Mayor Garcetti and such, if you look at the 1965 Crime Bill of 1674, if you look at the such and such act, and if you try to coincide that with the 1992 purposeful, meaningful acts of 1673. So I was back there in 1972, whenever that. It's like, dude, what he said, let's see if he can actually get to the question.
You had Gary Hatcher in Gary, Indiana. What you saw for the first time was African Americans being able to access economic capital in this country. Maynard Jackson gets elected in 73. African Americans were receiving 0.0012% of all city contracts in Atlanta. I didn't say 1%. I didn't say 0.5%. I didn't say 0.12. They were 0.00.
He could have easily said black people don't get contracts on a consistent basis, or black people only get 1% of the contracts. He has to say all this. He drowns you in extra stuff, but and just cut to the chase. So the question was, let's go back. What was the question?
Progress if Democrats care about ones that had the votes of blacks since 1964. Okay.
Speak against the burning of black churches. Welcome in my house. You let them know. No statement. he will not step foot in this house for a
You
fundraiser.
still haven't answered my question.
I'm telling no. I'm laying out to you examples
the answer
of
to the
how
question,
Republicans won't even
Yeah,
talk. So therefore, the only place who we can talk to you is Democrats, and that's one reason why Republicans have largely lost.
So that is your okay. So let's say that's true. Let's say
No, it's
true.
not.
For you, it is.
I've been black. Hold up, I've been black for 54 years,
Yeah.
and I have spent I have run black-owned media outlets, getting Republicans to even talk to black people, show up at forums. My parents were founders of a civic club. I'm telling you, not my opinion, what I've literally experienced and what black Republicans and even what I've had conversations about this with white Republicans.
But I got a follow up for you. So, in other words, Democrats are only ones that had the votes of blacks since 1964. Okay, 88% was 94% in 64.
It flipped in 64,
and it's now 88%.
Here goes the question. I kind of went back quite a bit. I'm sorry about that. Here goes the question.
86%, 90%, right?
Yep.
So if blacks have had, if Democrats have had that vote since 64, that's 60 years, 59 years to be exact. How come blacks haven't made major progress if Democrats care about blacks as much?
How come blacks haven't made major progress if Democrats think of highly of blacks, or wherever he's going with that? Basically, since we've been voting for the Democrats all these years, how come our areas or that black economic state has not grown tremendously since then? And the first thing he comes up with is government contracting. Well, those are policies, and well, I'm sorry, they're not policies. Well, they are policies put on the books in order to give government contracts to a percentage of black people. So that is a policy that's out there. But what I mean by that is it's still something that you got to contact the government for. And if we're electing the Democrats as our government representatives, then why haven't they helped us usher in more stringent rules or more proactive measures to usher us into more contracts? Let's see what he says.
Much as
Well,
they do.
first of all, that's actually flawed question, because when you say major
What kind of progress have they made?
No, let me allow to unpack
I would love to hear
that. So when you look at what you coming out of 1960s, then you go to 1970s, when you begin to see your first wave of black mayors across the country, Marion Barry in D.C., Maynard Jackson in Atlanta, Coleman Young in Detroit. Of course, previously you had Gary.
I don't see how this is going to help his case. So now he's talking about how you see new mayors, a wave of new mayors that are black in different cities. So to me, it shows we've been voting for Democrats so far. And then it also shows that voting for them, we've been able to make some kind of progress in getting black mayors at least elected. But we all know representation doesn't really matter.
Hatcher in Gary, Indiana. What you saw for the first time was African Americans being able to access economic capital in this country. Maynard Jackson gets elected in 73. African Americans were receiving 0.0012% of all city contracts in Atlanta. I didn't say 1%. I didn't say 0.5%. I didn't say 0.12. They were 0.0012% of all city contracts. Maynard Jackson comes in, he says, ain't gonna happen, not when you have a city that the significant number of African Americans. The reason Atlanta is called the Black Mecca today, because economically, you're part of that particular process. When you talk about Prince George's County being
I'm going to stop right there. He was able to tell you the percentage of the amount of government contracts that we were receiving prior to Marion Barry. What I was waiting to hear was the percentage that it has increased since him. But he just says that's why you call Atlanta the Black Mecca. And this, how do I know it? How do I know it increased? And maybe it did, but you did. How you gonna stop right there? You were supposed to say that before Marion Barry, and you did all this extra shit in between. You were supposed to say before Marion Barry was a 0.0021 whatever percent of government contracts given to black folks. Since Marion Barry came in, he said no more, no more. He was able to go out and rally together a bunch of government contracts together, and specifically was allocated those to black Americans. And he was able to move that number. So now they're receiving 4, 5, 6% of the government contracts. You didn't say none of that.
Being called today the richest black county in the country based upon home values. A lot of that is because of, again, contracting opportunities that came with Marion Barry was mayor, and then coming out of that. Now,
the reason why they call it this is because of contracting opportunities that came about because of Marion Barry. He didn't say what specifically, but you just believe it. And that's one city out of the whole United States, one small city, when there's black economic plight all throughout. And I understand, you can't cure it all at the same time. Well, maybe you can with reparations federally, but come on now. I mean, let's see what else he says.
What you have, and when you're talking about the black community, and when you're looking at overall, you have to look at the fact of the matter is this here. African Americans have been technically fully free Americans for only 53 years.
That is true. That's something I used to say all the time. Black people really haven't been fully free for quite some time. To a degree, on a federal, national level, yeah. I mean, so I think about it as, even my own grandma said she used to pick cotton, whether it was as a slave or was it just as a particular job that she had at the time. I kind of got questions about that based upon other things. But regardless, we were slaves for quite some time. So when people say you need to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, I mean, it took white folks lots of years to cultivate America and to move it up to the point to where it is. And of course, that was with a lot of foundational black Americans' help. But either way, I say it all the time too.
53, 64 Civil Rights Act, 65 Voting Rights Act, 68 Fair Housing Act, and you still were dealing with being locked out.
He's saying that the question is why, got somebody's fire alarm going off. The question is why, with all this voting for the Democratic Party that the black people have done, hasn't it helped us over the years or better us?
Okay. When you look at it, look.
So I guess what he's saying, Jim Crow, all that stuff, and that's true. Jim Crow, all that stuff has been a definite detriment on the economic state of black people, the education issues, as far as the funding allocation for urban schools, many things, but let's go.
Comes the money. If you're not having a money conversation in America, you ain't having a real conversation. And so when you talk about 400 plus years and you're only being technically free 53 years and you've been locked out consistently out of corporate America, I have actually met, which is sad, individuals who were the first African Americans.
He never really finishes a sentence. You ever really notice that? Like, when you look at the black mayor of Chicago and how he took care of things out there, he started to get government contracts that ushered in new changes, right? And also, things back in 1973 used to be a little bit different when contracts were allocated to certain people of different races. But then when you turn around and the Bulls played the Knicks in 1972, and there was the rebound of the century back then that had perspired by your boy Rodman. See, Rodman had turned around, and that was one time North Korea had let Rodman over there. North Korea is a whole nother situation because, nigga, where are we at in the story? Technically, he's still on topic, but god damn.
Ever work at major companies, and they got there in 72, 73, 75, 78. And you're like, what the heck? So when you've been locked out economically, which has an impact on every single place in America, housing, health, education, then you see where we are today. But has there been progress? Yes. Has there been enough progress? No.
Roland, so if I can finish my question.
Yep.
The only progress that he really talked about is contracts. And then he talked about why we didn't make progress. Jim Crow, all this other stuff, whatever. So basically what he came together to say in that long spiel was that the question was, how come things aren't better because with all this black voting, all the blacks voting for Democrats? And so you're basically saying, well, it did get better because we had some government contracts in Atlanta, but we also have all these other issues, and we're getting locked out of other economics. So,
yep.
Okay, I'll let you go, but you got to let me finish my question.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if we have
Check.
a leadership team running an insurance company for 5 years and the company isn't growing, you're going to sit there and say, okay, cool. Hey, you know what? You guys don't go talk to the employees. We do. Great. That doesn't mean you're good to the employees. That just means you're going out there to talk to the employees and to brag about the fact that you're talking to the employees. Let's give them 5 more years. Let's give them 10 more years. Let's give them 20 more years. Let's give them 53 years. Fast forward today, if you can pull up this article, you're a data guy. 27 of the top 30 crime-ridden cities in America ran by Democrats.
Yep.
If they are all about blacks, why are their policies ruining great communities?
Question for you. Pull it back up.
Yeah.
What's the root cause of it?
What is it?
No, I'm asking you. No. You raise
Right here, listen to this. Right here, listen to
it up. No. You said 27 of the top 30 crime-ridden cities.
You're the expert.
No. Here's the deal, though. If you're
I'll read the article for you. Pull it up.
If you're going to ask the question,
Yeah.
what I need you to do is I need you to then go, okay, what actually, looking at those communities, what actually happened in those areas? You brought up Chicago. Lived there 6 years. What is it?
You tell us.
No.
Basically, he's asking what are the details. So you're telling me 27 out of the 30 cities ran that are the most crime-ridden cities are ran by Democrats, and he's asking, okay, well, what's the details? How come they're bad? Not a bad question. You want more details.
No. See, here's the deal, though. This is the.
I'm giving up statistics.
No, you're giving
statistics.
No, you're giving stats.
This is 27 out of 30, which you like. You like stats and facts.
I'm giving you stats, but here's
nothing
the deal.
about what I said is not a fact.
No.
I'll read it to you.
But here's the failure.
As of June 22nd.
Right.
Okay, go to the top. I'll read the entire article for you.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
That's what you're asking me.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
A new report shows that Democrat policies in cities and counties are responsible for rising crime rates in their otherwise red states.
What are the policies?
What are the policies? Huh? What are the policies? You gave me a little bit more info, but I want some policies.
The Heritage Foundation today, whatever the policies are, is Democratic policies.
No. What are the policies?
Whatever the policies are, I don't need to know the policies.
Yes, you do.
No, I do not.
Yes,
I don't need to know the policies. All I need to know is
they're democratically ran. That means likely the Democrats have a big say over what policies are written. So to know what the policies are, I don't know if that really is going to help your argument, because we're talking about the policy writers and how come things haven't gotten better since they've been in office elected by black people. So they could have wrote, he could tell you all the policies in the world. Why is there so much crime? How come they haven't reallocated funds towards better education situations, towards like you say, mental health, or towards other youth programs that can help move them towards either entrepreneurship or trades or some of the sort. Like, what are the policies? Are they putting out tax-free days in order to save black people money in the area? Are they giving different type of child credits in that area? Are they helping out with daycare costs? Or what are they doing? Are they allocating more money towards the schools? Are they doing something? Or are all the policies whatever policies they write, it ain't helping. It ain't helping.
So you're saying Democratic policies, but what are the policies?
But wait a minute. If I give you and I vote for you and you're supposed to take care of me, why are 27 out of top 30 cities in American crime ran by Democrats? Why?
First, I will tell you. First of all, it's where African Americans are living. So let's bring up Chicago in particular. What you have had in Chicago is you have had some of the greatest racial segregation, not in 20.
So because of white flight, I can understand that. White folks or people are going to do what they do. It's the elected officials' job to monitor what's going on in the city and think about and legislate policies that are best suited for black people to perspire with the changes. Had there been something like that happened, then what you need to do as a policy writer is come up with incentives to allow people to flourish in the area. Maybe you go through and utilize the fund to buy up old dilapidated commercial locations and allow entrepreneurs who would like to lease those out a free year's worth of lease and allow them to come in there and start a business and lower the barrier of entry to allow people to get into a better economic state. We got to do something in order to change what's going on. Just to say the same thing. Let's keep going.
Years, not in 30 years, but literally in 100 plus years.
Led by Democrats.
No, hold on. Here's the deal, though. Okay, I will show you how Mississippi has the largest percentage of black people in America, run by Republicans, broke as hell. Explain that. Explain me the highest. Tell me when you have. No, hold on. Wait.
Don't spin.
No, I'm not spinning.
No, don't change.
No. What I'm
Let's
showing
stay
you.
on topic.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
He said he ain't spinning it, but he really is, because he just started to ask him about Republicans, and you got these Republicans in this city and whatever.
Stay on topic.
We're
The
on
topic
topic.
is
I will show you how
crime.
Mississippi has the largest percentage of black people in America. Run by Republicans.
Sorry, guys, I'm just checking.
Explain that. Explain me the highest.
Okay. I had to check that. Nobody's watching anyway. For the playback.
27 out of 30. Not economic. Economic is a different story.
No, it's not.
But I agree with you that we need to get the financial.
Yes, it is. Economic is a different story. Yes, bad economics do hurt areas and cause more crime and all this other stuff. Poverty does lead to a lot of crime. But you just told him about Republicans ran cities that are poor as hell. Well, how come they ain't on the crime list? They poor as hell. If economic state leads to crime, how come they not? You know, and I'm pro-black. I'm definitely about my foundation of black Americans. You know what I'm saying? I think I get what he's saying, but at the same time, you're really just hurting your argument. You're cooking yourself.
Situation
No. And you're making the mistake.
You went to Mississippi. No, you're making the mistake.
Here's the mistake you're making.
27 out of 30.
Here's the mistake you're making. When you say crime, I just obliterated a black conservative in my show on this whole issue. When you say crime, you have.
I just obliterated somebody for saying the same thing. He gives himself so many goddamn props.
To then say, okay, what creates crime? No.
What? I just obliterated somebody about this. Just went off on them, showed them all this. So now what? So now get this. Okay. Now so when you come on now.
No, what creates crime? What creates crime?
He took all that just to say what creates crime.
When people are not doing well financially.
What else?
He admitted to economics.
Your surrounding and environment, who you're around.
No, what else?
Pick up habits.
What else?
Bad policies.
No. What else? See, you're jumping to policies.
He said bad policies. You can't say that bad policies don't create bad situations, but you just named Jim Crow and all of these other things that were policies that hurt our economic state and created it. Come on, man. Roly.
But it is bad policy. Wait a minute.
No.
If I lead a company, Roland,
the underpinning. Hold on, wait.
If I run a company and I'm the CEO of the company, if the company improves or doesn't improve, is based on my policies. I'm the head.
With the smirk on his face, you can tell he's obviously not listening, and that's Roland Martin for you.
Running the company, the department. If it doesn't improve, it's because of me.
So let me.
What else would it be?
So let me lay it out to you again.
Go for it.
When you talk about what is the underpinning of crime, John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, this is what he said. He said, "Show me a community where you've seen a riot with a credit score of 700 or higher." The reality is, when you talk about crime in this country, you're talking about economics, you're talking about education, you're talking about housing, you're talking about health.
Mm-hmm.
PBD says some of those, half of those, and he mentioned a couple of the things, but he added in housing and health.
show me areas where you do not have high crime. I'm going to show you areas that don't have the same, aren't as compacted. That's first. What you have is, when you talk about crime in places, you then look at what are the numbers of people there, what are the pockets there, what are those communities, and how did those communities, how were they created literally not over 20, 30 years, but literally over 50, 75, 100 years. Now, that was Jim Crow.
How many years does it take to change?
What are you talking about?
How many years does it take to create change?
Roland,
how long does it take to create change?
First of all, you're talking about a black in America.
How long does it take to create change?
When you have had,
yeah,
okay, walk through 243 years.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go forward to another point here, because he's kind of going all over. I mean, I get where he's about to go, but let's skip a little forward.
You can win any argument if you want to. You can play devil's advocate and flip the argument, play the Republican side, and you make one hell of an argument to beat a Democrat, because you can do that. You have the ability, I have the ability as well. I don't want to do that. What I'm asking you right now is the following. Results. Today,
Yes.
27 out of 30 cities
Yes.
that are ran by Democrats are the highest crime in America. That's stats.
What states are those in? What are those states?
The states are different than the community.
New York, Chicago,
No,
LA.
but that's not the thing. The state is the community. The city is where.
What are you talking about?
The city you're in is what you can touch. Every year you come up and you say, "Re-elect me. I can help."
The state. Listen, I am born and raised in Texas. Texas.
What does that got to do with anything?
Clinton Park. To act as if. What? No.
Oh, so then what you're saying is, let's stop voting for mayors. They're a waste of time.
No,
because they can't do anything.
First of all, I didn't say that. Let me finish my thought. I am born and raised in Houston, Texas. Grew up in Clinton Park neighborhood. To act as if what happens in Austin does not have an impact on Houston is crazy.
You're making excuses now.
No, I'm not.
You're making excuses.
Okay, here's
now.
the deal, though. See, it's real easy to say it's excuses when I'm stating facts. And the point I'm stating is...
That's not a fact. That's just an opinion.
No, it's a fact. The state of Texas significantly has an impact economically, educationally on what happens in Houston. That's a fact.
Yeah, but...
As somebody who, as a kid, traveled with my mom to rallies and events with the Metropolitan Organization and the state capitol, I understand.
Did you grow up rich?
Who?
Did you grow up rich?
No, my parents didn't even go to college.
How are you rich then?
So this is where I wanted to kind of be at, the rich part. Did you grow up rich?
What do you mean how?
How are you rich?
Here's how.
How are you rich?
No, here's how.
Yeah.
Because first and foremost, the neighborhood that I grew up in it was one of the first master plan communities by HUD. What you had in my neighborhood was you had folks, first of all, I had mom and dad, one, who also
married
also hell yeah, they're still married, 56 years. Who absolutely believed in education. Now, what I recognize is, so for me in my household, what my parents emphasized, never went to college. Then my brother went to Texas A&M. I went to Texas A&M. My sister went to Texas A&M. And so that was our house.
Pointless information.
What I recognize is that somebody who is next door.
Like he asked him, like, how did you get rich? So what happened was my sister who went to Texas A&M, my brother who went to Southern, my sister, we used to go down to the lake on the weekends. And what you don't know is my mom, she was a descendant from
or across the street or around the corner.
Across the street around the corner.
Did not have the situation that I had. Now, I totally get that. What I don't do is be arrogant enough to say, well, I did this, why can't you? Because I understand that not everyone has the exact same setup, the same situation. What I'm talking about, and this is the, again.
But why not give that story of inspiration to say you can get out of it?
First of all, you say, why not? I'm sorry. Yeah, you clearly have never watched my show when what I talk about consistently are these very issues. I don't sit here and go do doom and gloom. First of all, every single Tuesday on my show, I feature actual black-owned businesses. Every single Wednesday, I feature African Americans who have tech companies.
I love.
Those are probably advertisements or some kind of small, quick segment. Who knows? I could be wrong.
Every Friday,
Yeah.
I actually
People love to people love to make big things out of small things when they get called out that they don't do things.
feature segment called Education Matters. Folks who are in the education space, school choice. I got HBCU Connect, so I do all of that.
So then
So
let's-
first, but one second.
But you know why I said that? Let me tell you why I said that. Because you
Okay.
said, I'm not the one that says, look at me, I got out, so can you. That's what you said.
No.
Yeah.
No. Here's why I say that. Because it is arrogant when, as an individual, I'm assuming everyone else's situation is the same. That's first. Two, it's also arrogant to then not actually study and look at how, from a macro level. See, you're describing a micro level. You can always have that singular individual or this person or that person or this family. That's micro. What I'm talking about is macro issues. And what I'm saying is, when I look at communities, that's not micro, that's macro. Even within the African American community, when you dealt with Jim Crow, you couldn't live anywhere else. You literally could not live anywhere else. Bottom line is, if you were black and had money, and then you were black and broke, you were literally living in the same neighborhood. After Jim Crow ends with integration, what then happened? Those African Americans who were middle class, upper middle class, began to move away. What then began to happen was you had areas where poverty increased even more so.
Why move
as a
away,
result-
though? Why move away?
Because,
If you care about the community, why not stay there and change it?
well,
Ooh.
first of all, does anybody else move?
What do you mean?
Who the hell else don't move? How do you think suburbs were created?
But wait a minute.
What do you mean?
But-
How do you think white flight was created? So everybody
but
else
if you
get to move,
act-
but we can't move?
No, but if you act like you care about the community
No,
as much
guess
as
what?
you do, stay
but
there.
But I'll answer your
Go
question.
ahead.
Do you know why? Because when African Americans were living in black neighborhoods,
Yeah.
they also had economically depressed housing values, and the reality is they were not able
Change
to
it. Help change it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't know why he's so mad at him saying that. That's what help change it. Do something to put back into the neighborhoods that you left. And a lot of us are guilty of that. A lot of us, black people, don't have the funds to do that. And the ones that do have the funds, they're not doing that. And that's the problem. That's a big part of the problem.
I am. I'll
Okay,
give-
hold
I'll
on,
give you an
hold on.
idea.
Here's OD.
Are you familiar with Palmdale?
I'm gonna need you to be drug tested. Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you even know today? We've done the stories in Florida when somebody's black selling their house, the appraisers will come in and literally give them a value $100,000 to $300,000 less because they're
Now that's true. That's true.
black. You know that.
But that's not going to stop the economic plight of black Americans, because what they're going to go into is a whole lot of what I don't believe, which is home ownership is a path to financial wealth in the United States. No, not home ownership. Real estate is is one path to financial gain here in the United States. But even then, it's like you're going to have to own multiple properties. Most people in the United States, most of them will own one property, and they're going to take 30 years to pay it off and damn near 5 to 10 years to save up for the down payment. So really, most of their working lives will be spent paying off this home that maybe, depending on the price of that home, when they get to retirement age, if you want to sell it, you can get your money off of it then, but you're not going to retire on it. You know, unless it's $1 million home, $2 million home or something like that, yeah, maybe. But if it's a 1, 2, 3, 400K home, you might be able to retire on 400 or 500K or something like that, but it depends on when you sell it. But then you still have to use that money to live somewhere. So I guess you're going to take that money and go live in a goddamn retirement community or something and use that for the funds to pay them, or would you maybe just live in that house for the rest of your days? But then who's going to continue to pay on it unless it's paid off? But then you got the state taxes and upkeep and everything else. So like, that's not the best. And just talking about appraisers, that's another thing too. If we're mad at the appraisers, which I get it, there's lots of news hidden camera episodes and things showing and testing this theory of different races of people going in and having an appraisal done and looking at the results and different things like that happening. So my solution, the thing is, we got to come up with a solution for these things. Okay, if people are having racial biases in a particular area, well then how can we get some of us in that area to hire those people so we don't have to deal with those biases? Appraisers make good money. You know what I mean? So we need to find more black appraisers. When you have black appraisers, then you get to choose what business you want to actually patron in order to utilize their services. And so not only are you helping somebody black and building up their economic state by being a customer to their business, but you also knowing that you're getting an unbiased opinion, or more than likely unbiased opinion, from a black person in your community. So yes, we have to do something. We can't just look at these problems and not look at for solutions and talk about these things. There are solutions. We just have to figure them out and get to them. We have to be creative. It's a new day. It's a new time. Technology is many different things that we can utilize, many different new business models that we can actually create that never had existed before, many different ways to get in touch with people that you could never get in touch with before, many different ways to advertise. The barrier of entry of business ownership has now become less with the digital age. So we got to figure out ways to circumvent these problems instead of just talking about them forever.
That's actually happened, right?
You'll take one story and say that.
Oh my God!
On how many occasions has that happened?
Are you serious?
Do you think a message like
Okay, why don't you go ahead and Google? Why don't you go ahead and Google?
How many times has that happened? No, I believe it's happened, but how many times has that happened?
The New York Times literally just did a story talking about the systemic racism that exists within housing appraisals. This is a fundamental problem. I'm trying to see, you're living in a different reality.
What progress are you making by saying that?
What progress?
So what you're doing?
I'm trying to end that.
Okay.
Do you know how inherent? Okay, hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
You're trying to.
Hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
I am. Yes.
How would you feel? How would you feel?
Yes.
If you're selling your home, you've got a home that you know,
right?
And you put upgrades in it, and you know your home is worth $500,000.
Yeah.
And somebody comes into your home, and they see your photos,
right?
And
they just re-asking the same question,
and then they go back and they go $350,000. You go, what the hell?
So you tell them, I don't like it. He said the moment you learn sales,
then Republican teachers
in my
life.
Why like side, and you make one hell of an argument to be the Democrat because you can say, I don't like it. He said
is when I'm stating fact. Just you have
Roland school, and my teacher starts.
Just we elected one person, and they're just going to change it.
Roland,
doesn't work that way.
Roland, I'm Middle Eastern. Okay, I was born in Iran.
Okay, right here. This is going to be a clip for sure.
10 years. My mother's a communist. My dad's an imperialist. We escape. We go to Germany. I lived at a refugee camp for 2 years. Okay. With people who are Yugoslavian, Czech, Albanian at the time, and they're all leaving for a reason. I come to the States.
Oh, whoa, I'm sorry. Let me say that again. So they didn't have anything, you know. He's talking about they were, you know, refugees, different country, had to be taken to Germany. They were down and out, poor, didn't have anything. And what was their solution? Well, come to America, where the niggas have built it up under white supremacy, and they have utilized our manpower in order to make a great economy out here. And they said, hey, if you come on over, we won't treat you like these niggas. So just come on over. We don't care if you don't have anything.
Okay, I'm a welfare baby. I'm a food stamp baby.
Okay.
Think about this. He just said that he's a welfare and food stamp baby. So y'all went and fled from your country and came over here, and instantly as you came over here, you were able to get government assistance, set-asides, propped up. How did you even know that existed? You over in your own country kicked out, 2 countries kicked out of, Iran and wherever, and you're forced into Germany and y'all starving, can't get no food like that, and magically an idea comes in all of y'all's head that there's this country out there that's utilizing tax money from the people who are working in the country and giving it away to people. Hey, you need the food, you need health care, you need this. Come on over. We're not giving it to the niggas like that. Some of them are, but if we do give it to them, we're going to demonize them for taking it, okay? They came over here as refugees needing this. You niggas need to pull yourself up.
Just letting you know, my parents are divorced twice in 20 years. I'm going to Glendale High School. I have a lunch ticket I would sell because I don't have any money. I'm 6'1", 130 pounds. That should tell you the fact that we don't come from a lot of money.
So they don't come from a lot of money. Of course, you fled from a different country. Then you could have stayed in and that's another thing. You asked him how come he didn't stay in his neighborhood and fix that up. How come you didn't stay in your country and fix that shit up? Talk about white flight. That's a long ass flight y'all took to come on over here and get a little bit of set-asides. And then y'all, you were poor and all this other stuff. Okay, I get it. Yeah, you were poor and all this other stuff. Yeah, I get it. But you knew if you came over here, you were going to get something. You knew that there was jobs out here. You knew that there was education out here. You knew you'd get some free food and free little set-asides and maybe get your health care and all this other stuff. You're going to have better policing and all this other shit. And you weren't going to be looked at like the niggas. Y'all knew it. And the same thing is happening today in immigration. And immigration that's coming on this mass immigration wave, you got a lot of people coming over here getting the same things. So much so that many of them are protesting against it, against the things that they don't get. If up in New York, look it up, the Mexican people, the immigrants that they just brought up there in New York. First of all, I think they were staying in some particular hotel that was really nice. And then I guess they transferred them over to something else because that one cost quite a bit of money. And they came back, they said, no, we're not going to stay in that other place. That place is unfit for us. Nigga, y'all was probably just sleeping in the goddamn cactuses, okay? On the fucking rubble. And you won't sleep in a goddamn Motel 6. You better be happy with the most prostitute-ridden, drug-infested ass motel you can find here in the United States. Nigga, you here. You should be happy just on that shit. Come over here demanding shit and protesting as if you got a motherfucking voice. Shit's crazy. Come on, think about it. Can we go to Mexico, start living there for a little bit, have a kid, and the next thing you know, they didn't even have kids. They didn't even live here for a little bit. They're still illegal. But go over there and start protesting that I'm not getting treated the way I felt like I should be treated. They gonna be like, nigga, you ain't Mexican. What the?
One day, I'm in the school, and my teacher starts talking about politics. Up until that point, when I think about politics, all I think about is divorce. Because I think about my mom and dad arguing all the time. I don't have a lot of pain linked to politics at the time. And the teacher's, obviously the teacher's going to be a Democrat because she's presenting how rich people are this rich. I'm like, okay, great, rich people are bad. So I come home.
I obviously
13-1. That's the number. That's
dude.
the stat.
I had a whole lot of damn Republican teachers in my life.
Well, I like stats, and the stats are 13-1 is Democrats to Republicans.
All right, I'm gonna hop forward a little bit more, y'all. I'm gonna hop forward to another point.
Okay, why should we have police handing out parking tickets? Why don't we have them doing the major function of fighting crime? Why don't we actually have this unit that handles that? That's called reallocation. When you talk about the issue of mental illness,
you're spinning.
No, I'm not. I'm stating facts.
You're spinning.
First of all, it makes both of you a question. Have either one of you actually covered City Hall before?
No.
No. I'm giving you. You want facts? Here's the deal. I actually have been a City Hall reporter. I have actually been in the city meetings. When you talk about,
why don't you just say you were wrong? Why don't
I'm
you
not
just
wrong.
say Democrats were wrong?
Because I'm not wrong. Because you're wrong.
No, but hold on, Roland. Wait a minute. Hang
Explain to me reallocation. Hold up, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
When you're in a company and when you reallocate funds from one unit to the other, are you cutting funding or are you simply adjusting?
Why do you have a hard time just saying they said it? Why do you have a hard time? By the way,
I actually counted three people who said the words defund.
If you allowed it, you would have heard them saying defund the police. Wait a minute.
I literally heard Nancy Pelosi say shuffle. I heard Kamala Harris say reallocate. You're showing
we
me
got to go back on
some
this.
Democrat who spoke is and go, well, you know what? That's Republicans. The reality is this here. Democrats, Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, and yes, Democratic president have greatly increased funding of police in this country. Ain't even a question. So you can holler, the Democrats defund the police when it shows they've actually increased the funding.
Show the video.
They've increased the funding.
You asked for it.
Yeah.
You asked for it. Show the video.
Which video now?
Watch the video.
Show the video.
Watch
I just
the
emailed
video.
you. I just texted to you.
How he acts.
Who we got? Don Lemon, Charles Barkley.
Democrats haven't said defund the police at all because they would never
didn't say that.
No, you said Democrats haven't said it. Activists said that. Your word.
No. You said who created the phrase. I said it was activists that created the phrase.
Who came up with the concept of defunding the police?
Activists did.
And then which credible Democrats said defund the police?
There were some Democrats.
No, not some. These are some heavy duty ones.
No.
Make it bigger.
No.
Make it bigger.
When Democrats controlled Congress, how many votes they had?
Here you go.
When Democrats controlled Congress, how many votes?
Shut up, Rolly.
When Democrats controlled Congress, how many votes did they have? How many votes did they have?
What's your point?
The point is this here.
Pause it so we can start from the beginning.
Did 223 Democrats vote to defund the police?
Press
No.
He's just like, look, press play. Shut the fuck up, okay? That's what Roland will do. He will not shut up, okay? But he will continuously talk your shit up.
Answer the question, yes or no?
I want you to see this. I want you to, you're asking, I'm showing you data because you asked for this.
No, you're showing me some Democrat who spoke on
not some, the most credible
mental
ones.
Health issues or policing in schools and all the rest, that perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to
No.
That's
two. No, that's two. That's only two. No, that's only two.
Dismantle the Minneapolis
that's only two.
That's just defund your
same
bus.
Person.
Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources.
No, that's not defund.
You're
taking
the
reallocating money. No, because I'm about to check you.
And social
services.
They are talking about
reducing
it's not.
the allocation of resources to that department.
You're defunding them. You're wrong.
How's that wrong? This country ought to be thinking about the same thing.
Yes, I support the defund.
That's three.
That's the keep
That's
going.
three. Now, let me explain to you.
How many more you want me to say?
No. So let me explain to you.
That's five.
No, it's three.
That's five.
So yeah, I mean the spirit of it.
So pause.
Only three.
Roland's ass will not let them get through 20 seconds of the goddamn video. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Rolly.
By the way, would you?
Okay, hold up, right there. What does reallocate mean?
Would you like me to continue this?
No,
Don't spin again.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Do you understand? Do you understand that in a significant number of cities in this country,
right,
where you have policing who do everything? Okay, you have in some cities where the police are handing out parking tickets, where the police are doing duties that had nothing to do with the streets. When you say reallocate, what that says is, okay, why should we have police handing out parking tickets? Why don't we have them doing the major function of fighting crime? Why don't we actually?
And I get what he's trying to say, but what he's trying to deflect from is the idea that they all do this. The politicians will dance around a phrase if it's a very controversial topic. So defund the police was one of those policies, or not really a policy, what was one of those ideas that was out there that people were trying to push for, but really that was really more of a political thing. A lot of them that was out there, advocates, was something to rally up the advocates in certain areas and certain cities after certain issues that had happened around those times, like, with police brutality and shit. So it allowed them to give fuel to the fire of the movements of the day, and it allowed them to be to get more votes and things if they talked about defunding. But some wouldn't talk about defunding the police because it is controversial. And so a lot of them would dance around the topic and they would get asked questions. Are you for defunding the police? And they'd say shit like, well, I definitely feel like there should be some, resources changed. So they're saying that they're for it without saying that they're for it, but he didn't allow them to finish the other 7 minutes of the video. They probably, I haven't watched it, I need to go watch it myself, but there probably could have been other clips of Kamala and the rest of them also later on saying the actual words, but he wouldn't even let them finish because that's Roland Martin. The only person they can finish is Roland Martin when he's eating.
They have this unit that handles that. That's called reallocation. When you talk about the issue of mental illness,
you're spinning.
No, I'm not. I'm stating facts.
You're spinning.
First of all, let me ask both of you a question. Have either one of you actually covered City Hall before?
No.
No. No. I'm giving you. You want facts. Here's the deal. I actually have been a City Hall reporter. I have actually been in the city meetings. When you talk about,
why don't you just say you were wrong? Why don't
I'm
you
not
just
wrong.
say Democrats were wrong?
Because I'm not wrong. Because you're wrong.
No, but
hold up, Roland.
Wait a minute. Explain to me reallocation. Hold up, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
When you're in a company and when you reallocate funds from one unit to the other, are you cutting funding or are you simply adjusting?
Why do you have a hard time just saying they said it? Why do you have a hard time? By the way, I
actually counted three people who said the words defund.
If you allowed it, you would have heard them saying defund.
And he knows that it was a mainly Democratic talking point. It was something that maybe the advocates came up with, but they damn sure started parroting it in a lot of their in a lot of their campaigns and a lot of their tweets and a lot of anything to try to make themselves look better. You know what I'm saying? So he knows for a fact that they talked about it. His fat ass sat there for a long time co-signing the shit on his show. You know what I'm saying? But regardless.
Defund the police.
Wait a minute. I literally heard Nancy Pelosi say shuffle. I heard Kamala Harris say reallocate. You go, oh, that's defund. You actually have a reallocation of resources that exist in city government, county government, state government, federal government every single day. But for some reason, you don't want to deal with that. Yeah. Was it spin when I told you that Democratic mayors and governors and the president, they've greatly increased police funding? Why? Hold up. Can you acknowledge that as a fact?
Roland,
can you acknowledge it as a fact?
If I sit with you,
you'll see his eyes.
Can acknowledge.
Can you acknowledge it as a fact?
And you can acknowledge that your side of the party.
It's not my side.
Support it.
See, that's right there. See, you're yelling your side.
I'm not yelling my side. I'm a registered independent.
Here's the whole deal, though. First of all, in Texas, I don't have to register as anything.
You still are not going to acknowledge the fact that the defund the police concept was brought up
by
and
activists,
constantly reaffirmed by some of the most powerful Democrats in America.
The Speaker of the House said
in America,
shuffling of funds. That is not defunding.
The
Vice President Kamala Harris said reallocation. That is not.
But Ilhan Omar said not only defund, she said dismantle.
So he's really harping on the fact that it must be stated verbatim in order for it to be. So you can't say reallocation of funds. You can't say moving this from here. You can't say changing police policies to, anything that talks about defunding doesn't count. It's, did you say the words? And that's going to fuck him up here in a second.
If she's a member of Congress, how many people are listening to that?
Stop. That's one member of Congress, right?
Oh, but you want to let the whole thing play.
There's a 7-minute video.
You want to let the whole thing play?
First of all, show me. Here's the deal. Show me 218 who defended that and actually voted for it to happen. Please. You can't. You know why?
Stop.
Because they
didn't. This is where credibility is lost.
What are you talking about?
Credibility is lost if
this is utterly hilarious.
Credibility is lost if you are okay with politicians lying and telling us what they're not trying to tell us. and being okay with it. Saying, well, no, they didn't say defund the police. They said all these other things. And that's what he's saying. Well, this is where the deception comes in, because if you're going to say this, then people are going to take you on face value for what you're saying as a representative on TV. You're the president or vice president of the United States, and you're talking about certain topics that are very much so pointing into the defund police topic. But then you don't want to say it. And we're supposed to be okay as the public to just listen to that shit and just be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's what he's saying, is deception. And they're cool with deception because they care about the votes to keep their position. And their position, they're using their position for whatever the hell they want to. They ain't got the shit to do with us unless we demand it. And even then, when you demand it, you got to go even further. Really, demanding shit ain't going to do nothing. You're going to have to take the time to put the representatives in place yourselves, whether you fund them or find them or whatever, and actually do something. Actually have them to have the core ideas that you're looking for in order for them to vote for you and to put through legislation and policies that are going to help us and not others, or not others, but they can help others all they want, but that's going to help us specifically. So I get what he's saying.
I am stating an undeniable fact.
Understand.
Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, Democratic president.
Raising your voice doesn't validate your argument.
Has increased funding. Yeah. Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago took actual COVID funds and shifted $20 million to the police department to deal with the mental issues that they were having. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that reallocation?
Maybe one of the worst mayors in America.
She took COVID money.
Yeah.
Hold up. COVID money and reallocated for that. Oh, but reallocation works when you agree with it.
Roland.
What I'm trying to explain to you is,
what is reallocating some COVID funds to some other thing has to do with them saying that they think that they should reallocate some funding in the police force? They said it specifically, or talked about it, or they were asked specifically about the police funds, and they said something about moving funds, or co-sign somebody that moved the funds. Like, just because somebody moves funds somewhere else doesn't mean that just automatically makes his side invalid.
When you say defund, that means cut.
You can
defund means cut.
Which means you will also be cutting funds from certain resources that were allocated to the goddamn gang task force, or what he was talking about, parking meter enforcement and all this other shit. Yes, you would be cutting those, snip, and reallocating. So yes, it is a cut. Now, he's trying to now say it means cutting funds specifically, saying that the police have a $5 million fund and we're going to take $1 million away instead of shuffling. Defunding also is defunding certain projects, because if you take a fund away and cut the fund that was going toward the gang unit and you fund it with, racial training or something like that, that's a cut. But what it's semantics right now, because he just doesn't want to say, and really it doesn't even matter. It's about the topic. The topic was, who were the main people spearheading the defund the police movement? And it was the Democrats, and he just can't admit that.
Remember earlier when I said there's a difference between persuasion and manipulation? You can spin any argument.
I'm not spinning.
You're very good at debating. You're very good at raising your voice, interrupting all that stuff. I watched you for years.
I just think it's hilarious
but
that both of you will say that the Democratic Party has supported defund the police when the fact of the matter is
the Democratic Party came up with the idea of defunding the police,
and you're wrong.
And they supported it.
You're actually wrong.
You've not heard Republicans say defund the police.
Which that's the main purpose. And he might have been somewhat wrong about who actually originated the term, because it might, like he said, Roland says it came from activists. But activists come up with shit all the time. The only activists that actually get their shit into the mainstream media typically get embraced by the Democrats or some particular party that wants to utilize their message as a soundboard or a bullhorn or a dog whistle to other people. And that's what I believe.
You've not heard.
Actually, you're actually wrong. In Senator Tim Scott's policing bill that he released in 2021.
Let's see this part.
In the bill,
Because he said that no Republican was talking about it. He said, you're wrong. He's going to say Senator Tim Scott, who's a Republican, actually had it in the bill. Now, did Senator Tim Scott have in the bill the words verbatim, defund the police? Or was it some abstract idea that really talks about it? You know what I'm saying? Or not even abstract, some very concrete verbiage that really talks about it. Let's see what he said.
Happily send it to you.
What did he say?
He actually said.
What did he say?
You want me to read it?
I want to hear it.
No, I'm gonna read it. Hold up.
Let me guess. He said reallocate.
No.
Let me guess.
No. That's not what he said. Because see, what you don't understand is,
like PBD done went off a couple times on it, but he keep his composure because at some point, as a host, you can go one way or the other with it. You can let the person cook themselves and act like a fucking ass the whole show, and go ahead and say, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna even win going back and forth with this person because I get a brick wall every time I try to stay on the topic. He keeps flipping the topic. He keeps changing. He keeps drowning out, using word salad, drowning out the whole conversation with all this other extra shit. I'm trying to get some information to you, and then we can't come to a consistency. I can't even show you a 7-minute video. And we wanted to play the whole 7 minutes, but we didn't even get through 30 seconds of the goddamn video. So I understand PBD, and he really kept his composure the whole time. You know what I mean?
But here's what we're going to do.
No. Hold on. When the George Floyd Justice Act,
play the entire
when the
clip.
George Floyd Justice Act
play
failed,
the entire clip.
I literally sent this. I sent this to Senator Tim Scott, and he didn't answer my question.
He said, "Play the clip." Fuck what he talking about. Play the goddamn clip. All that extra shit. Play the clip. And what is Roland gonna do? You know this nigga finna keep talking.
We were running for office.
Just like you know at a fat ass buffet, he gonna keep eating.
I answered yes to that question.
We are going to reduce funding in the police department and redirect
Is that a
money.
smart move?
There's no
Reduce
reason
funding?
Police budget should just keep growing and growing and growing. They can
What if they do?
sensible cuts to police.
We propose
Police cuts is a good thing?
No, it wasn't cuts.
$7 million from the
He
police
just said
bureau.
that.
You don't even know
That
what
our
London Bree
city,
did.
through our city
You don't know what she did in San Francisco.
No, that wasn't a she, that was a guy.
London Bree was speaking before her.
In cuts.
All right, he didn't go as crazy as I said.
Rashida Tlaib tweeting,
Are cuts a good thing?
no more policing, incarceration,
upon-
and militarization.
Police
It
cuts
can't
are a
be
good
reformed.
thing in these communities.
If they're not doing their job.
What do they say?
Oh my God! So you
They say we want fundamental.
Right here. No. You said to me, oh, show me Republican. When Senator Tim Scott introduced his bill, okay, on police reform, this is one of the things that he did. When it failed last year, he went on Margaret Brennan's show, CBS Face the Nation. He said, the Democrats wanted to defund the police, and that was a bridge too far. In Senator Tim Scott's own bill, they actually said, in order for police to qualify for these funds, laws will have to be passed on the city or the state level. Excuse me.
So he didn't say the word verbatim, defund the police. He didn't even say it nowhere near the way that they said it on the Democratic video that he was showing. But you see how he tried to hurry up and skip past this shit. On top of that, he act like he pulled it up, but he act like he ain't even reading it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things. Let me find it for you. I got it right, y'all. Y'all, let me find it for you. You think I ain't got it? See, what I was trying to tell you, you know what I'm saying? What I found, okay? Nigga, you was just typing. Go back to typing.
Excuse me.
Oh my God! So you buy that into defund the police, but we need to reduce it. It's not.
See right there. You won't even.
You're so funny.
You won't even listen,
buddy. If there's anybody who doesn't listen, it's you.
No, you listen. Senator Tim Scott said that they won't get the funds if laws don't get passed.
That's defund the police.
When the George Floyd. Listen,
hey, you're a master spinner.
No. First of all, if you listen, I'm telling you what he did. He then a year later calls that same thing
respect,
defund the police, and I literally, and if you want to see it, those are the text messages.
You're so funny.
I sent to Senator Tim Scott.
Yeah. He didn't pull up the policy or the legislation or whatever the hell he was talking about. This nigga pulled up text messages between him and Senator Time. What does that got to do with what you were saying, dude? You said you was gonna pull up the policy. You know what I'm saying?
I said, Senator Tim Scott, please explain to me the difference between what you said the Democrats are doing, what you did.
You just hurt your argument even more.
What are you talking about?
Because what you just did is validated everybody else what they just said.
Yes.
That means what Kamala said, what Nancy Pelosi said. They're all saying the same thing. Defund the police. And now they realize it was a bad idea.
She did not say defund the police.
Of course. He did not either.
Oh, wait a minute. So You say what Kamala said was defund the police.
Your argument.
Boy, now you trying to flip the flip. Now you trying to flip the flip. So he said, PBD shows video of Democrats saying defund the police or variations of defund the police. Rolly ass says they didn't say defund the police because you have to say the words defund the police. PBD's like, they still saying it, and that's deceitful if you're going to talk about it and not mean it. And Rolly's ass is like, no, they didn't say it. And then PBD's like, okay, well, no Republicans are really saying, defund the police. And Rolly's like, wait, I got a Republican for you that said it. And then he shows him what he said, which wasn't defund the police. And he's like, PBD says he just said that's defund the police. And he's like, no, he didn't. Roll his ass. No, he didn't. That ain't what. That's not what. He said no. He said that's the same way that they're saying it because you didn't say the verbiage. My bad. He didn't say. He said he did say defund the police. But he said yeah, whatever. But then now he's saying, but he didn't. But then Rolly's ass saying, well, he didn't really say the words defund. He was like, so that's not really saying. So now he's trying to flip it and say, I don't know. Hopefully, it's so many flips in there that I done got flipped. Okay. This is what you get when you fuck with Roland, okay? He gonna flip, he gonna roll, he gonna twist. All kind of ways you can do candy and corn and shit that he eats. That's what he does. You know what I'm saying with the conversation.
You just screwed yourself up.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I was specifically calling out Senator Tim Scott by trying to call something defund the police when they were simply proposing exactly what he did.
You know what's the problem? Here's the problem. Roland, the problem is.
Look at the way he be looking. All that extra shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You ain't winning. You didn't make no goddamn point.
And when I sat down,
look at this work. Get your ass out of here.
Sit down with somebody with whatever thing they believe in. Okay, it's specifically a lot on the Democratic side. It's specifically.
It is a lot on the Democratic side.
It is being a Democrat before their country. It is how they vote before America. It is, nope, I'm going to defend this because there's no way these guys going to say anything wrong with defund the police. And that's when you lose credibility. All you have to say is,
you have no,
I don't acknowledge this, I don't support this. That's all you have to say.
You have no credibility on this when you can't even acknowledge what reallocation means. You have no credibility when you can't even define that. When I have actually talked to mayors and city council members, and they have walked through how. When London breathed, when the
policies have destroyed the city.
Here you go. Destroyed the city. And it was a drop in the number of reports of the cops claiming folks were attacking them. Yes, because you get the cameras.
Great, I love that.
The problem that we still but here's the deal. But the cameras are not the panacea. They are a tool. But what's not? What you said, the phone. But what's now happening in various states?
So they're talking about cameras and body cams on cops and how cameras can change or are being kind of a change maker in society.
Arizona. Oh, we're going to pass laws. You can't record us. See, now it's like or no. You
What's the reasoning? What did they say the reason is?
It's always a BS reason, but we know why. What happens is you don't want to get recorded, and so look, it was. And we talk about the power of the phone.
Yeah,
I'm flying. I don't know where the hell I'm flying. I'm going through Chicago. There's a shoe shine stand, but no person is there. So this guy is sitting like on the wood.
Just say what you did. Damn, stories.
Where they shine the shoe. I got you.
Sitting in one of the seats. Yeah. So he's on Facebook.
See, you got to rush that nigga along. Come on now, okay, nigga, go. Rush that nigga. Move. It's conversation.
Time I think with his wife or daughter or somebody. So I walk up. I said, "Excuse me, I want to take a seat." Fuck you. Jesus. No, you're not sitting down here. Fuck you. I go, "Excuse me." I go. All of a sudden, he's like, I said, "Do you understand? I want people recording because they don't want the truth." And that's my problem with the bills. Now, you want to say, hey, you can't be in 3 feet.
That's fine.
Yeah, because you're saying, no. That's not what a lot of these folks are trying to do. They don't want.
This is Arizona?
I think it's Arizona.
Is it passed?
Yeah. Oh, it passed. And more states are looking at that because they don't want that accountability. Mm-hmm. And it's increasing. And again, I've supported body cameras, but I've also said, if you're a cop, the moment you get in that car, click, it's on, everything's recorded. I don't know if y'all saw the story where the cops didn't realize their body cameras were on.
You see how he just stops in between me and says, "You get in there, it's recorded." I don't know if y'all seen that one thing with, goodness,
and they was stealing money.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Yeah,
and they went.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's already it's a wrap at that point.
Well, that's how I think it was insane. The female cop, she was busted using the N-word because the body cameras were recorded.
Yep.
Okay, and again, I just simply say, if you turn it on,
it's 8 feet. Off. It's 8 feet of the police.
Yeah,
that's what.
Because at that point, because
so you can record, they just don't want you. to be within 8
close.
feet.
And I agree because Roland.
But some states were actually talking about blocking people from actually
which is
recording
ridiculous.
cops, saying
That's ridiculous.
It's interfering with their official police duty. That to me, I'm saying that's wrong.
Yeah,
there has to be accountability.
I think camera is keeping all of us honest and.
But the problem is, after you might have that video.
Yeah.
But still, now you got to get to, is the DA going to take it to the grand jury? Because it's a lot of DAs don't want to piss off cops.
Yeah, but you know what's changed today.
And then you go, let's say you do go to trial, like the Connecticut story. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There have been examples where you're sitting at home going, look, I don't know how in the hell this guy's going to get off. But a jury, it's because in this country,
I think I missed it.
You seem like a little too hardcore right now. This wasn't you. You were the sweetest guy we had here. And finally he got fired. He literally got fired.
It was Rialto, California. And when they went to body camera.
Right here.
And you see the story. And the camera on the cops.
Well, Rialto.
It's getting better.
The first police department, it was Rialto, California. And when they went to body cameras, there was a 77% drop in the number of reports filed against cop for police abuse. And it was a drop in the number of reports of the cops claiming folks.
Okay, I wanted to stop there because he's saying that when they put on body cameras, there was a report in a number of drop in police brutality numbers as well as incidences that cops were saying that people were doing things to them. So he's saying that cameras helped.
We're attacking them. Yes, because you get the cameras.
Right.
That to me, I'm saying that's wrong.
Yeah.
There do go to trial, like the Connecticut story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There have been examples where you're sitting at home going, look, I don't know how in the hell this guy's going to get off. But a jury, it's because in this country, we give so much authority to police, that people, the human part, which is why, and a lot of times, the charges will get downgraded by the jury. Yeah, we're not comfortable. Real world.
All right, I'm done with that. I'm gonna go play one last part because he's kind of all over the place, and then we'll.
Champs.
But they did cheat against the. Come on, let's be honest. They cheated. They all got in trouble, and nothing really happened to any of them.
And the Yankees have some will say James Harden.
One time get a quadruple. Do we have a book?
Losing their minds because I cut right to the chase of unpacking all of this stuff that's going on right now and this fear. Oh my God, again the utter nonsense of a critical race theory and this silly stuff with DeSantis and woke. No, what it is that folks, they don't want to accept that America is changing and you can't do anything about it. Guess what? 2043 is coming. You stop having kids. It ain't my fault. But the bottom line is,
I'm going to end this here, to be honest. There's another point in here I wanted to show you the arrogant and confidence and how he felt like he won this debate. I mean, it was so utterly stupid and arrogant that it was just, it just really amazes me how he acted this whole time, to be honest with you. He really made black people look bad, but, Roland does that on a daily. So, what else did I expect? Nothing. I expected exactly what I saw, plus, So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here, man. Y'all need to check out the PBD podcast with Roland Martin, and just kind of watch the whole thing for yourself. It's definitely worth the laughs. To be honest, you don't really learn much during it. Typically in debates, when you go back and forth on both sides, you can learn quite a bit. But Roland didn't really allow any of the ideas and talking points to really kind of perspire into like really in-depth conversations and some back and forth. I mean, he just really dominated the conversation. One of the things that one of the things that I say at times is I wish I had a way, and I'm pretty sure there is a way to pull the dialogue of certain videos or just like conversations that I've had with people. I've said this to them. I said, man, if I had a way to pull the dialogue between us and do a word count, you would see that you talk way fucking more than I do. And you sit there, and when people that do that, it's like they're really out of steam. They're out of talking points. And so they just kind of babbling to allow themselves to be the dominant person in the conversation, because the more they talk, the less you talk. And the less you talk, the more they feel like they win. Instead of just kind of put back and forth ideas and trying to see whose is best and what policies and things we can agree on, what things we can and why we don't, and get into some reasonings and bring up some topics and some facts and some videos and some clips and try to see if we can try to change any of these ideas. If not, then we'll just leave on an even note of agreeing to disagree. And that's a problem with some people. They just can't agree to disagree. At some point, just stop the conversation. As PBD did, at some point, you just got to stop, say, you know what, Roland Martin ain't really going to be, ain't really helping the topic right now. He's not really giving me much to go off of, as far as I'm not being able to finish my talking points. I still got all these points to talk about. It's almost been 2 hours. F it, call it good. So, my hat's off to PBD putting on a good podcast. Roland, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. The fact that if you look in the chat was horrible as far as how much shit they was talking about Roland Martin. Now, don't get me wrong. One thing I said in that chat, it was a whole lot of racist things. And I was like, a lot of y'all are hiding y'all's racism behind your hatred of Roland Martin and act like we don't know. But we ain't stupid. You know what I mean? You can sit here and say all this racist cloaking, what are you not cloaking? This low-key shade racist comments that you want to say all you want to and just throw Roland in there. But we know what you mean, So that's another one with your boy Chef Bay. Appreciate y'all checking out with me. I only had a couple people that came in, but I appreciate y'all.